Hello there and welcome to the Impact Zone podcast. My name is Adam and I am your host, and today I'm sure you guys have seen the thumbnail or the title, or at least seen the part that's behind the screen here, so you all know what we're doing. Or if you don't know and you can't read or you can't see, apparently, I don't know, maybe you're actually listening to this on the podcast, I don't know. We are doing a fantasy booking of AJ Styles for one last run in TNA. And yeah, we're basically going to get right on into this one. Now, this one actually came to me like a few days ago, and I'm sure a lot of people have kind of thought of this sort of thing. So I know it's probably not like the first person to come out with this. I'm sure I'm not going to be the last person to come out with this, but hey, it is what it is, and it's a bit of fun. Do keep in mind that everything that I'm going to be saying or whatnot is just me trying to say, hey, this was and still is, to most people, the face of TNA wrestling. If you think of TNA wrestling, you're probably going to think of AJ Styles. You think of AJ Styles, you're probably going to think of his run in TNA. Now, I want to clarify something very, very quickly before I, go too far deep into explaining too much of what we're actually going to do with AJ and how he's going to get here and where is he going and whatnot and all that sort of stuff. So, this is important for the fact that this is a run, not one match or one-off. Yes, it's probably more likely in some regards that he have one match or one moment or something else. But I want to be greedy and I want to give him a full proper run. And I feel like it actually makes more sense to him to have a proper full run of a couple of months or whatever. So yeah. That's where I'm at. I think it just makes more sense. I don't think it makes... it can work if he just is going to turn up for one pay-per-view or whatever, but realistically, the thing is, I wanted to cram his run, which is only going to be a couple of months anyway, full of as many, dream matches as what we can get out of him, and just moments that we can get out of him, because he is the GOAT, and, this guy deserves to be in the TNA Hall of Fame. He's the first ballot Hall of Famer, if there ever was one. If there's any time, at any point, that he could possibly, now that's very, very somewhat unlikely, but it's not impossible, and we do already have some of the context for that story kind of evolving in WWE. And again, I'm not saying that he has to, stay with the company. If he wants to go back to WWE and be a talent scout like I think he said he wanted to, he can go do that. He can go do whatever he wants to do after this run. He can do as he pleases. And obviously he can choose not to do this or whatever. Again, it's fantasy booking. I just am trying to write a very fun and interesting little story or some, little moments. I'm not going to go too deep into everything. I did one of these with the Motor City Machine Guns and whatnot. It didn't happen. And this might not happen. We might not ever see AJ again. I don't think that's really not going to happen, but, we might not. Who knows? We actually saw him at Slammiversary a couple of years ago, call in and say, hey, well done to TNA for 20 years and whatnot, which was very nice, and I'm glad that they did that and whatnot, and I'm glad that, because they had some issues in the past, even so, but I know that they were working through some of those issues, and AJ was potentially going to come to TNA again before he went to WWE, but they just didn't offer him a very good deal, and he just decided, well, I'll try my chances elsewhere, etc., etc. And the rest is sort of history, as they say. So, we're going to start right here in the right now. Now, I am filming this on Monday, the 3rd. So, yeah, I don't watch SmackDown. I don't watch Raw. I don't watch WWE in general. Like I haven't watched it in many years. Like, and I probably won't ever really watch it. Like, I've seen little clips and moments and things like that here and there, and I saw that his fake, or some of the stuff from his fake retirement thing and whatnot. But we're going to actually use some of what WWE did, like, and context that WWE has already kind of given us to help guide us in this story, in building what we're building with AJ, because it's only logical. It's only the sense of what we've already got, so it just only makes any kind of sense. So again, we start in the here and now, and AJ's just done the whole fake retirement thing. And he's back to Nick Aldis to say, hey, or Nick Aldis is saying, hey, that was a bit shitty of you, or whatever, and whatnot. But you're still not getting a title shot, at least against Cody Rhodes. But AJ, he's insistent on getting a title shot. And that's the key element here. A world title shot. Now, I better make that a little bit more clear, I guess, because someone could say, oh, he's going to challenge for the Intercontinental title or something, or whatever, or the X Division title, though that would make some amount of sense still. But no, we're going for the world title here. So he has to say, I want the world title specifically, or a world title shot. This is going to be, like, he has, like, we've already got that context. This is going to be probably his last year. And he said that here and there in, like, real promos, or interviews, rather, and whatnot here and there, and said a similar sort of thing on Twitter and whatnot, and all that sort of stuff and all that jazz. And he sort of said that in sort of promos as well, like, time is running out. And that's, like, the key aspect of, like, what we're trying to go for here in, like, some of, like, what, like, the context of, like, he's desperate. He needs a title shot. He needs, a world title shot. He doesn't care if it's against Cody, if he can't get Cody, apparently, because Cody's quote-unquote a little bitch and won't fight him, he'll take on, I don't know who's the other champion is. It's still Damian Priest. I'm sorry, I haven't kept up with who the world champion is over on the other show, so I'm not 100% sure. I think it's Damian Priest still. Sorry, I'm not 100% sure. Though again, I don't want to say that, well, what if he goes to NXT or whatever? He could, who's the champion in NXT? Like, I don't know. Sorry. I knew it was Braun Breaker for a little bit, but I don't know who it is right now. Sorry. Like, I'm not a very big WWE guy, so I don't know who the champion is a lot of the time, and whatnot. So, like, I know Roxanne Perez because Jordan Grace went over there. I know her because she was in DNA, like, and whatnot, and stuff like that. But still, again, I just don't know some of these things. I didn't even know Roxanne was champ until Jordan went over there. So, like I say, I don't follow it. I don't I know Cody won. I know what happened at Mania and whatnot. And so on. So, and I have seen a little bit of the stuff because, again, it's AJ and it was kind of big news. So, but whatever. So he says that you can't go to Raw or NXT because frankly they're they don't want this on their roster, and quite frankly, I don't want you on my roster either. So, I'm almost on the verge of suspending you for the shit you pulled out there. But AJ's begging and pleading and saying, I only did that because I'm trying to show you how much I really want this and really need this title shot, and whatnot. So, Nick Aldis says, well, if you give me 5 minutes, or whatever. I will make a few phone calls and I will work something out. So AJ nods his head and walks out. A few minutes later, Aldous comes out of his office, hangs up his phone, and AJ walks back up to him. And Aldous says, "Well, the deal's done." And AJ says, "It's done? I'm getting a title shot?" And Nick says, "Yes. And you're getting a title shot in the house that you built." And AJ eyes light up, thinking that he's getting a title shot somehow against Cody. Cody's, crumbled and he's like gone, "I need to beat that AJ Styles because he kicked me in the balls," or whatever, and all of this. So I want to avenge that. And Nick Aldis hands him a piece of paper. AJ looks at the piece of paper and he reads the piece of paper. So and he says, "Your title, you won't be number one contender, and you're not getting the title shot right now. But you will be able to earn a title shot if you go here. This will be your first test to becoming the number one contender for the title." But he doesn't say which title. AJ thanks Aldous and walks away. He looks at the paper again, scratches his head a little bit, thinking that the location doesn't, and he says, "Oh, this doesn't seem right. I don't remember Raw or SmackDown or even NXT going to this, wherever it is, doesn't matter, location this week." But he continues to walk off. And Nick Aldis kind of slyly grins as, to the camera. Then AJ turns up next week. And says, AJ looks at the form and he says, "Thursday? I don't remember WWE ever doing anything on Thursday." So, but he just shrugs it off and he, walks off. TNA Impact starts on Thursday. And I'm assuming this is going to be after Against All Odds, probably, or maybe just before, potentially. I'm not too sure. But actually, maybe it should be before. But yeah, it probably makes sense for it to be before. So AJ gets to the arena. He walks in and he's like looking around, and on camera, he's like he's looking for the Good Brothers. He's like, "Where's the Good Brothers?" Or whatever. I don't remember. I don't know what their name is in WWE or whatever they're being called over there. He's looking for some of the people that he knows. He's like, "Where's Minchin?" He's looking for Minchin, or Mia Yim, aka. He's looking for other people. "Where's Logan Paul?" He's looking around. He doesn't see any of the people that he knows. "Where's Doug, the tech guy?" Or what? I don't know any of the tech guys that are over there at WWE. Even just throw something like that out, just say, "Where's Doug, the tech guy?" Whatever. I don't see Doug anywhere. What's going on? He's still oblivious. And the commentary is like, "Holy holy shit, it's AJ Styles. He's in a TNA arena. What is going on here? But AJ is still like oblivious to this. But he doesn't blink, he doesn't flinch. He walks down to the ramp area, and he goes to Gorilla, like the Gorilla position. He says, "Where's Triple H? You know, where's Nick Aldis? Like, give me a mic. What's going on here? What is this?" He walks out on. He's given the mic. He looks at it. It says TNA, and he's like, "Wait, what? What?" He's like, "This can't be real, can it?" And the commentators are saying, "Yes, this can't be real, can it? AJ Styles is back in TNA." And he walks out onto the stage to a massive, absolutely massive ovation that he freaking deserves, by the way. And everyone is losing their fucking minds that AJ Styles has walked back into TNA for one last run, apparently, or seemingly. And he walks out of the stage seeing the TNA logo on the ring apron, seeing the TNA, tunnel, seeing the TNA graphics on the Tron. He's looking around. He's like, he's like, he still doesn't believe it. "What is this?" he says on the mic. "This isn't SmackDown. This isn't WWE. Where am I? Is this real? I was promised a title shot here, or a title opportunity, or a number one contendership opportunity here." Suddenly, Santino Marella's music hits, and Santino Marella comes out. And he comes out with the mic and he says, "Well, I don't know how he'd mess up AJ Styles' name exactly. Did they ever really do any segments together in WWE? I don't know. But he comes out and he mispronounces AJ Styles' name somehow. And he's like, "Good to see you back, brother, in TNA. And yes, I am here to tell you, as the Director of Authority, that you indeed do have a number one contendership opportunity at the TNA World Title." And AJ's looking at him like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "This has been all agreed upon by SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis. He has sent you here. This is now going to be your opportunity to win a World Heavyweight title. And I will now introduce your first opponent." And then the lights go out for a second. And they come back on. And Josh Alexander's music hits. And his Tron starts playing. And he walks out onto the arena, or into the stage at the entrance. And he sort of says, "Welcome back, AJ," and puts out his hand. AJ doesn't accept his handshake. And he says, "What is this? Really? I've been duped. I've been tricked. I thought I was getting a title shot for the WWE title." And Josh says, "No, AJ, it's for the TNA title. We've said this already. You see that logo in your hand. You see that logo on the screen. You see that logo on the ramp. This is TNA. The house that you built, AJ." And he says, This is your opportunity that they have given you. Oh, no, Santino says that. Sorry. I should have done it in the sort of Santino voice. This is the opportunity that you have been given, and you must accept it. Either you will accept it or you will retire. And also, if you lose any of your matches, you must retire. So you're again setting this context because AJ Styles said that he would do anything. And, he even said, I'll put up my career for this. Whatever I have to do, I will do it. And AJ says, yes, I said that. I said that I would put up my career and that I would do anything to get a world title shot. So I guess this will be it. This will be my chance. I will crown myself at the end of this and be the TNA World Champion, the face of this company like I always was and always have been. And the segment ends there. And the match is set for Bound for Glory. Oh, no, for Slammiversary. Sorry. I'm getting dyslexic. Sorry. Josh Alexander versus AJ Styles in one of his first, contenders matches. But between then and now, AJ Styles has another match. But this is a tag team match. And it's a tag team match against Josh Alexander and a partner of his choosing. Let's say it's EY. It doesn't really matter. Somebody who has a long history with AJ. Eric seems like a good option. They've also tagged a fair bit, so that makes sense to me. And also a partner of AJ's choosing. So again, it has to be somebody else that kind of he's had a long history with. Kaz seems like a good option because he's probably one of the very few other people that are on the roster still that has ties to AJ. Remember Fortune, guys? Okay. So, again, there is... And then again, even if you discount that, he's had a lot more interaction with AJ in the past as well. So, there's that. AJ Styles... should have said this first. AJ Styles' career is only on the line in singles matches or number one contendership opportunity matches. So that, again, that's a little bit of a cop-out, but that just sort of helps it because, again, if his team loses, it kind of, makes it really hard. And it's really hard to tell a story without, there's some jeopardy or some doubt or whatever in the mind of the fan, that AJ can overcome the obstacles. But AJ's, again, he's so desperate and he doesn't care. He's just yes, okay, all right, I don't care. Yes, I built this house too. This is the real house that I really built. You think I built SmackDown? I really built TNA. He gets into it. He finally realizes, I don't care. Whatever it is, this is my opportunity. This is my chance. This is where I'm going to go. This is where I'm going to devote my energy and effort. So he goes ahead. And again, Josh says, well, we need a match, against AJ. A tag team match. Warm me up or whatever for our match at Slammiversary. You can scout me. I've scouted you, etc. So they have that tag team match, as I said, against all odds. And I don't know, that it's not the greatest match that you could put together for him. But again, you need to sort of ease into these things. This is his starting thing, and he's got his, first proper rivalry with Josh. Who's the face of the company and who's going to be the number one contender to the world title, this whole thing. And yes, I'm going to pay it off fairly quickly, at least in some regards, because again, we only have a couple of months in which to do these things. So yeah, I don't know whether AJ's team should realistically lose. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But again, I just wanted to make that little piece again clear so that just in case that does come up and we have to make him lose somewhere in a tag team match or something, it only counts in the one-on-one number one contendership stuff, so that we can, make sure he can get to the point of, winning that or looking to win that title. So anyway, we get past that match, that tag team match. They continue to feud and butt heads and continue to do all kinds of stuff, like brawling here and there and, promos and things like that. Like, you've got to have these guys, going at each other and clashing and, like, coming to blows and things like this to build anticipation because, again, you don't want to overexpose AJ. You want the few matches that he's going to have feel special because they are special, and you shouldn't expect him to, do too much either. Like, he should have these few matches that are really great, and then that's it. It's impossible to have a match with literally everyone that you could think of, but again, we want to cover as many bases as possible. I think Josh is the best place to start, because it's Slammiversary coming up, and again, like, there's not many other people that you could kind of put him with and it would make any sense. But this is like the first step. There's like one or two more, and then he gets the title shot. That's it. So anyway, but it goes along to Slammiversary. Finally, the match, and again, like I wanted to say this, you have to put AJ, anything that he's in, even if it's a random tag match, you have to put that as one of the semi-main events of your show because he is one of the top guys, and you cannot, think to put... You can put him on the opening, like, a match, because, like, the opening match and, like, the either semi-main or main event are the top matches, like, of a card, mostly, usually. So yeah, you want to push him right to the top as much as what you can. His match is going to be one of the most important anyway, especially when it's a singles match. So again, he has to be right up there, right near the title picture. He doesn't need a story against the system so far. He will get that. He's already kind of got it. And it will kind of already organically create itself as we go along. So somehow through desperation and, his, years of experience in wrestling, somehow, some way, by hook or by crook, by the skin of his teeth. Now, this I want to imply a lot throughout his few matches that he has, especially. He barely gets the win. He barely gets the win every single time in a singles match. So he barely beats Josh Alexander. And now he comes out next week after beating Josh Alexander, and they're going to have like a 5-star match, I'm sure, because they are both amazing and incredible, and they can pick together a amazing match between, a strong technical wrestler and a great high-flying stroke sort of technical wrestler. So he comes out and he's sort of gloating, a bit and saying, yeah, but again, this is one thing. You will not have AJ be a heel at any point of this. He can still have an edge and be a bit of a badass, but he's not going to be a heel in this run at all. Like, there's no way the TNA fans are going to boo him after being away for so many years and not seeing him for so long. And this is probably his last time being here. And, they're just going to be so overjoyed to see him. They're never going to boo him. But still, he's sort of a little bit cocky and sort of, gloating a bit. But he says, well, that's enough of that anyway. Now I want my title shot. Santino Marella comes out. Just a minute, you son of a gun. He says, they've won your first match, but you have a couple more before you can get your title match. Because there are a few other people here that have been here toiling away in the recent years who do think that they deserve a title shot as much as you and want to take you down and take your career as well. They want that prestige of beating the great, the phenomenal AJ Styles. And AJ's like, but I've earned my opportunity. I built this house. You may have built this house, but you still need to earn the opportunity to face the champion. And so Santino says, your next challenger will be... The lights again go out very quickly, and then Speedball Mike Bailey's music hits. And Speedball Mike Bailey comes out, and he comes down and bows to AJ, as he does. And Santino says, you will have your next match at the next pay-per-view. And so they will have their match again at the next pay-per-view. So again, I'm trying to work as many like good dream matches that you can against some of the, you know, up and coming guys. Like everyone wants to see Josh Alexander and AJ. I want to see it too, but I want to give some more up and coming young talent, you know, these opportunities. Well, Mike Bailey's one of the better young talents on the roster, and he deserves, you know, some spotlight as well. But again, at the next pay-per-view, AJ Styles again, you know, slips out from Bailey hitting the Ultimo weapon. And I know this probably doesn't really work with what he's kind of currently doing, but again, you can kind of like reshift focuses when you've got something else, you know, poised in front of you. So, but anyway, so again, AJ barely beats Mike Bailey after moving out of the way from the Ultimo weapon, and then moves on. And then he comes out again saying, oh, I've won that one, and I suppose I have to win more, don't I? And then Santino's Morella's music hits, and he says, yes, of course you do. You have a couple or more matches left before you face the champion. In fact, you have a match against this man. The lights go out. Death Machine! Sami Callihan comes out. He walks up to AJ, sort of puts his hands like across himself, and sort of sits back and sort of scowls at him, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna go to war against the Death Machine. So they go for their next match, next pay-per-view. And this is like the second last one, I think, unfortunately. So, because again, like Bound for Glory is pretty soon after Slammiversary, honestly. But again, we've had like the chance to see him at Against All Odds. We've had to get another couple of chances. This is one of the last ones. And I think the last one might not be on pay-per-view, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyway. So, again, like Callahan's goes for the pile driver, but Styles reverses it, you know, and then he reverses it into the Styles clash, but Callahan kicks out or something, you know, like I'm just saying, like this is what they could do. And then like AJ gets Callahan up seemingly for another Styles clash, but hits him with a Cactus Driver 97, and then pins Sami Callihan, or something like that. I don't know, maybe, or whatever. Maybe he actually hits him with a Canadian Destroyer somehow out of nowhere or something. Like, do something that makes it feel like he used Callahan's move kind of against him, or used that sort of style of move against him. And so AJ again comes out. How many more of these matches do I have to have until I'm winning the title or I'm going against the champion? And Santino comes out. You have one more match. The lights go out. Say his name and he appears. We believe in Joe Hendry. We believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry comes out and does a little bit of a promo on AJ saying, well, nice sucker mom haircut there, AJ. Or whatever, and things like that. So, and they have a very entertaining, promo. And then again, Joe Hendry in the match once they get to the match, Joe Hendry's going for the standing ovation, but AJ Styles, he reverses it into a DDT, and then he goes off the ropes and hits a phenomenal forearm or something, or some sort of move, and then rolls Joe up, with the tights or something, and, gains his victory. On the next episode, Santino Marella comes out and he says, I'd like AJ Styles to come out here right now. AJ comes out and he's saying, well, I've beaten everyone that you've set in front of me. Now I get my title shot, right? And Santino says, yes, you're right. But you had better have been careful what you wished for, because now you must face the mammoth, a moose. And then the lights go out. Trust the system. Do, 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 do. And the system comes out. And Moose says, AJ, bound for glory. Not only are you not gonna win this title, I'm gonna spear you and put you down in the ground and take your career. I'm gonna be the one. I'm gonna add that accolade to my resume. I'm gonna be the one to end you, like I've ended so many other TNA legends. And the feud continues from there, building to Bound for Glory. AJ somehow has pulled off miraculous victory after miraculous victory, but now he's going against the system, and the system has the numbers. But he's doing all these great moments where he makes it feel like he's going to win at every turn. He flaunts Brian Myers from interfering. He takes Eddie Edwards out. He has Minchin turns up or something. I don't know. Somebody turns up and takes out Alicia Edwards. Perhaps Minchin. I hope that it would be, but who knows? That's just a little bit more fantasy booking here, I guess. But anyway, and so AJ Styles has got Moose in the middle of the arena. He's about to go for the Styles Clash after not being able to hit it throughout the whole match, but he can't get Moose up. Moose is too big, too strong, will not go for it. So he backdrops AJ. They do a few other things and go through the motions and the sequences and whatever. And then AJ Styles finally, somehow, some way, after the whole match has been going and building, is he going to hit the Styles Clash? Can he hit the Styles Clash? He goes for the Styles Clash and he finally gets Moose up, but he can't fully hook him. But he goes for the pile driver, like he did against Callahan. Like Josh Alexander did to him, in his first match. Oh, sort of a faceplant, I guess. Whatever. But anyway, he hits that and goes for the cover. But Moose kicks out and pushes AJ right off of him at 1. And AJ's like, oh shit, what am I going to do now? And he's arguing with the referee for a moment, saying, did he really kick out at... He didn't even kick out at 1? You didn't even get a 1 count? What the heck? And then he turns around and Moose levels him with the spear. But as the referee's hand is coming down for the 3, AJ barely kicks out of the spear. One of the first people to do it in a fair while, which should get a massive pop, and then, Moose sets up in the corner again to go for another spear. And as he's going for it, AJ jumps over Moose, and Moose hits the turnbuckle. And AJ finally, properly hits the Styles Clash and rolls Moose over. 1, 2, and Moose kicks out. Barely. And AJ's dyslected, but he's like, I actually got a 2. I got a 2. I can beat this guy. I got a 2. I'm so close now. And he gets up, but Moose pulls the referee in to him and then low blows AJ without the referee seeing it. And Moose then picks up AJ and slams him down with a powerbomb, and then sets up in the corner again and spears the absolute hell out of AJ. 1, 2, 3. Ding, 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 ding. And the match is over. And so is AJ Styles' career. Moose holds up the title over AJ, gloating, and walks out. AJ rolls to his feet, realizing what's happened, seeing Moose on the apron holding the title up, looking back at him with his hands, face in his hands, and going, no, it can't really be over. Is this really it? He's broken down, and that's it. Till Santino Marella's music hits. And he comes out and he says, AJ, you might have lost. You might have lost your career. You might have lost your title match. But everyone here respects you. You are the greatest, one of the greatest of all time. You truly built this house, and we thank you for it. And we would like to honor you with a Hall of Fame induction. And the crowd claps and cheers. TNA, AJ, AJ, Hall of Fame, etc. And that's how the pay-per-view goes off the air. So you can do whatever you want after that. You can induct him into the Hall of Fame either at that show or the next night or whatever. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Or you can do it next year or in 2 years when it's the 25th anniversary. Doesn't really matter. Now you've put this out there and you're saying, hey, this is the guy. Now you could have done that at the start, I guess, but the whole thing is to get this saga. Now it might not be the best again. You could pick some other people, maybe not Joe Hendry, I don't know, because Joe's amazing, and it might be better for AJ to face more heel-like wrestlers, I don't know. But again, you want to give the rub to some of these young guys that kind of need it and whatnot. They've been in there with AJ, they've had some great matches with him, and, you've gotten this great run out of him through this, 6-month-ish period or whatever it is, 5 to 6 month period. You've given a huge rub to your world champion Moose. Again, something that he still really needs. He really needs to solidify this title run and, cement it and cement the system and cement that faction. Excuse me. But still, yeah, you need to keep building that so that when somebody like Joe Hendry or Josh Alexander or whoever it is finally beats Moose in another few months' time or whatever it is, that it's huge. Moose has done all of these dastardly things for months, weeks, a year, whatever it is, or even longer. And yet finally, here's somebody. They finally were able to, negate the numbers from the system and or whatever, assemble the Avengers and defeat the system and overcome Moose somehow, some way. And, but that's another story for another day. But, that's so that you can set this whole thing up for Moose and for whoever, again, is going to challenge Moose and win that title. Because, again, like, the title and the title picture is only as good or as strong as the people kind of challenging for it and how good you kind of make them look. If you're, again, putting Josh Alexander and like Sami Callihan, some of the more major names that are on this roster, out there with somebody that's like considered the GOAT or one of the GOATs of this industry, and certainly one of the GOATs of TNA, you're trying to solidify them in that same space. They are that damn good, and they are worth the time to continue to invest in, and we are trying to invest in them. We're not just handing them this loss for no reason. We're trying to showcase them as being as big as one of the greatest of all time, and whatnot. And somehow, some way, they are going to climb that mountaintop as well, hopefully, seemingly, of course. So that is my fantasy booking for AJ in TNA. Now, I didn't have a lot of the details here and there of like the matches and whatnot, because again, I think matches are something else. I just want to tell a little bit of a story. And sometimes, like I said, some stuff here about like he should do this or he should do that or whatever. Being that there's a reason for that, like in the match, like it tells the story of like what the match has been or why this is happening or how, you get to a certain point or why you're at a certain point. Because again, even if AJ Styles is this badass and almost a heel, people are, again, not going to, they're going to cheer him. They're not going to not cheer him, you know what I mean? So he's going to be a babyface pretty much no matter what. But you've still got to showcase, that he can fight dirty and will do. And again, he's desperate, so that makes sense. He really wants this and he really wants to keep his career, but he really wants that title or a world title. So again, it makes some sense. And the situation that he's in right now makes some sort of sense. The working relationship between WWE and TNA, whatever that is, makes some sense for him to potentially do this or some of this. And that would be great. Like, we would be, honored and privileged to have AJ come back and do something. As are the people that, get to see him, I don't know whether it's every week, but whatever, basically every week. And, we used to have that. And it's, one thing that we will get to see for a short period of time, him cutting promos, him, doing run-ins and doing this and doing that and whatever else, trying to get to the title, trying to get advantages against his opponents and whatnot, scouting tape, etc., blah, 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 all this sort of stuff, interviews and moments. That's what I think, like really resonates more so, like, because the matches will obviously be really good. And I'm not really one to put together too many matches, so as much I can, but like again, it's like this is more about like the impetus and the reasoning and whatever else, all that stuff, And And again, you could kind of do this whole thing where Santino, like AJ comes out the next week or whatever on TNA and says, well, it's all over and whatnot. My career is done. And then Santino comes out and says, your career might be over, my friend, but you are a true legend and we would like to honor you with a Hall of Fame induction or whatever. You know, like you don't have to just do it the way I said. Like at the end of Bound for Glory, you can just have AJ there with his hands in his face or whatever and not believing it, and then have that be the end of that pay-per-view. And again, it'll be a great draw for TNA. You know, they'll probably break their box offices with AJ back on their roster for a short period of time. And again, like if he doesn't want to do this, that's fine. I get that. But like if you don't, like, or if he doesn't, like, it will be a big missed opportunity, in my opinion, if they don't try to do this or some sort of variant of this. Because again, like, if I have to explain to you why AJ deserves to, you know, bookend his career in TNA, I know that's not literally where it started, but that's really where it sort of started. Yes, there's Ring of Honor, that's kind of a thing still, but we don't really see that WWE has a working relationship with AEW or Ring of Honor, and really they have to have a working relationship with AEW. I'm going to get it right here. And we've seen Tony Khan say and do some kind of nasty things against WWE in the last few years, so I'm not too sure how eager they are to kind of like do anything. I'm not going to say anything bad about the two parties or whatever. I don't think they absolutely hate each other. Maybe they could do something, but this just makes so much sense, and it would be the only way, in my opinion, that you could bookend his career in the right way. And that's the one thing that I think every wrestling fan wants. They want to see the wrestler bookend their career in the right way. Ric Flair, you talk about Ric Flair bookending his career with his iconic match against Shawn Michaels. I know he wrestled a bit in TNA and whatnot. He tried to bookend it again, you know, when he was, wrestling his final match against Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett and whatnot. So again, like, what's going on there? So that's the thing. And The Undertaker tried to do it a couple times. Well, he finally did get it. Shawn finally did kind of get it as well against his match, with his match against The Undertaker, though he came out of retirement again. But the reason that he came out, well, besides the money, but the reason he came out of retirement in that specific match, or, you know, whatnot, was because of the context of the match. It wasn't just a match, here it is at random, you know. It was a match against The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels with his DX counterpart, a match that had never happened, and a match that sort of made some amount of sense. You know, they had history, they're from that era, it's the end of an era type thing, you know, one last hurrah, which wasn't a hurrah, but still, like, again, neither was Ric Flair's last match, his last match so far, at least. Like, Terry Funk tried to retire, like, I don't know, 1,000 times, didn't he? So you've got to be happy with it, and everyone's got to be happy with it and accepting of it. And if AJ does this, I think everyone would be happy. Like, I don't even think there's another way, like, realistically, like, to end it. Like, to me, like, if he ends it another way, okay, yeah, sure. But to me, it really won't be finished. In my opinion, as a guy who watched this guy for a fair few years there in TNA, you know, there's no way that I would think that his career is done until he has something happen in TNA, or at least a Hall of Fame induction of some sort. Whatever. I don't know. But hey, it is what it is, and we don't always get what we want. But I do wish for this. I know a lot of people do wish for this. Let me know, you guys, who else you might want to see AJ go up against, potentially, if he ever did come back to TNA. What would you do with AJ and TNA or whatever? Or just, like, fun little things, like fun things that you like about AJ from the past or whatever, and whatnot. So yeah, let me know all that stuff down there in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, please do consider subscribing, and I hope to see you again in another one.